Sponsored by the Big 98, Nashville's #1 for new country and the home of the Bobby Bones Show.
We're so thrilled to have back on the show an incredible songwriter, guitarist, producer, and you know, she's got her own band now. She's a band leader, Grace Bowers. Grace, thanks for coming back on.
Thanks for having me.
You know, it's like since last time we talked, you've had a few things going on with your music career.
Difference a year makes.
Now you have the band, the Hodge Podge.
Yeah.
Where did you come up with that name?
It's called the Hodge Podge because it was actually kind of a joke when it first started because people would book me for stuff and I never had like a set band. So I would just get a bunch of like players I knew and pretty much just throw together something for a night.
Yeah.
And I called it a hodgepodge as a joke until we played this one show and it just sounded good for once. And you know, the name just kind of stuck.
Well, it's so interesting too. Once again, you know, this past few years, you've been playing with so many artists, but now fronting your own band and having original music out. And I got to tell you, you know, with the singles out already, you know, and going to your Spotify channel, which you have now, it definitely has a Sly and the Family Stone or a George Clinton feel, which I like.
Those are my two like all-time favorites, and like definitely inspired it the most for sure.
It just sounds great, though. I mean, with the instrumentation, with your guitar work, and with the vocals. And I understand that, you know, the vocalist you have working with you, that you guys wrote a lot of the songs together for this new album coming out in August, Wine on Venus. So so you and her wrote the songs, except for the one you did with Maggie Rose.
Yeah, me and Esther pretty much co-wrote every single song, and some of them had other collaborators on them too, but a good chunk of them were like literally written on my bedroom floor, just me and Esther. I was with a guitar, and you know, we were both kind of helping out with the lyrics, but it was a collaborative process for sure.
How much fun! And then you did Madam President, I think, with Maggie Rose, correct?
Yeah, that one was cool. Me and Esther had this idea for a song, and it didn't have a chorus yet. So we brought it into Maggie and we like knocked it out in an hour. It just like, you know, sometimes when you're writing, you just like get in the flow. Yeah. And it definitely happened that day.
Well, you know, and it's so great to, you know, when you and I were talking about it in the past, certainly, you know, with your music, you know, because you've played with so many different artists. I mean, you know, from Dolly Parton, I mean, you name it, just all over the place, all genres and styles. But it seems like now you're really coming into your own with your original music. And you're doing this independently also, right? Yeah.
You know, I love playing with other people. I love playing other genres. Like I'll play country, I'll play R&B, whatever it is. But we've kind of gone in more of a funk and soul direction with some, you know, obviously a blues and rock influence to it too. But yeah, no record label on purpose.
Right.
You know,
well, it's not a bad thing though either when you're working with Grammy Award-winning, you know, artist and producer John Osborne, and he wants to work with you.
Easy.
I mean, how does that feel? You know, I mean, to work with somebody at that level that wants to produce your album and music with you.
It was amazing. Like I always tell people, I can't imagine doing it with anyone else. It was just the way it happened was so perfect, and he really understood the sound that I was going for. And yeah, it was just an honor to work with him.
And so obviously, you know, with the album, with the singles coming out, music videos going to be coming out, you're going to have this on vinyl, CD, digital platforms, obviously. I want you to talk a little bit about the name Wine on Venus and where you got that song title from and everything, because I think it's great.
Yeah, well, it's called Wine on Venus, which will be the name of the album and our next single. It was written with Ben Chapman and Meg McCree, and when we wrote it, I had just gotten home from California because I'm from there. And we went back this year for Christmas, and my Nana had passed recently, and it was our first year like being together as a family, and she wasn't there. And we were all kind of like telling stories about her at the dinner table, and my uncle goes, you know, she used to tell me all the time that when she died, she'd be drinking wine on Venus because it's the brightest star.
Wow.
And everyone else started like chiming in like, yeah, she used to tell me that too. So I just thought that was like a really amazing phrase. So I took it home with me, and me, Ben, and Meg wrote a song about it.
That is so powerful.
Yeah, and it's really,
especially
it's
from
really special.
your Nana's words.
Yeah.
To use that for the album cover and the single, an entire song unto itself. That's powerful.
Yeah, thank you.
So, and I got to bring this up too. It's like, you know, you and I have definitely stayed in touch, and I follow your career. I've seen you play out live at Gibson Garage and so many other venues over the years. But you looked a lot like you were on the New Year's Eve Rockin' Eve party in here in Nashville, out on front stage for, I don't know, a few million people. What was that like?
That was crazy. It was kind of like, it was a little bit last minute too. I got invited by Lainey to play 2 songs with her. And
that's Lainey Wilson, for people that don't know, that few country hits.
And I have so much respect for her, like immense respect for her. So being able to, like, she invited me, and being able to be on stage with her, not to mention in front of the biggest crowd I've ever played for, just being able to like look out and see that, and then look down, and like I have my guitar with me. It was a really cool feeling for sure.
I mean, how incredible, Grace. I mean, you know, and looking back too, you know, obviously starting guitar when you were 9 years old, and your mom, Lisa, you know, buying you a guitar, you know, getting into all of this, you know, and essentially self-taught, but you really became a viral music sensation during the pandemic, just putting out little videos, right?
Yeah. I never would have expected that it would have taken me to a stage, but
yeah, many stages. I mean, including the Crossroads Festival last year.
I'm glad it did.
Yeah, it's so amazing. It seems like things keep getting bigger and bigger. I mean, write-ups in Forbes magazine, USA Today, the list goes Country Now.
Yeah.
I mean, I could just keep going on all the things that you've been, you know, it seems like, you know, in between, you know, making your own album, doing your own songs, your own band with the Hodge Podge, playing with other people. It's like also you're like a fashionista now, doing all these fashion things, you know, bouncing between California and Nashville.
Yeah, that's been something new to me, you know, like walking red carpets, but I actually kind of love it. Yeah, it made me nervous the first time I did it, and then, I don't know, you know, there's something about like getting to dress up in fancy clothes that I don't get to keep most of the time, but it's still fun. I don't know, I love it.
It's so incredible, and I think it's well deserved with everything that you're accomplishing. I wanted to bring up also your benefit, the second one this year at Brooklyn Bowl on June 10th.
Yeah.
And you know, and we have one of the hand-painted guitar cases that will be auctioned off that looks a lot like you, Grace. Oh, look, it has your name on the bottom.
Who is that?
By our mutual friend, James A. Willis. So tell us about the benefit, because last year when you put this on, it was the first one, Grace, and I know it was a challenge, but a lot of your musical friends came to be a part of it in support of Covenant Schools, and so second one this year.
Yeah, well, I started it last year after the Covenant shooting, and you know, I was really upset over that and wanted to do anything I could to help, so I put that show together, and then Nashville showed up in such a huge way that, you know, I kind of want to make it, I want to do it every year, just I want to see some change.
Right.
I don't think we've seen any yet, but you know, that's not going to stop me from doing my part.
Right.
So this year it's going to Voices for a Safer Tennessee, which is a nonpartisan organization, meaning they're not political. I don't care what side you are.
Right.
It's just about safety and education, and it's from preventing things like Covenant from happening again, and that's something that is really important to me. So this year it's going to be a little bit bigger at Brooklyn Bowl. We haven't announced everyone yet, but we have an amazing lineup. Right. So yeah, I'm hoping.
So guests are still being added in to the benefit, so people should get their tickets early.
Yeah, get your tickets now.
Because I'm sure it's going to sell out.
We're hoping so.
and besides this, I think you might have a few other auctions at the benefit also, right?
Yeah, we're working on it. We may have a guitar to go in the case for y'all.
How nice. I mean, and the case is just amazing. Hand painted, you know, custom by James A. Willis. And also, as you mentioned to me when we came in the studio, the names along the side of the case too, Grace.
Yeah, and then the number 9 represents the victims too. So there's a lot of little Easter eggs on it that kind of indirectly represent.
And the name of the benefit, you know, love, life, and music, the benefit for. What a great creation. What an incredible thing to do with you as an artist, you know, besides, you know, the music and everything else you have going, Grace. And I mean, but I got to bring this up too, you know, because, you know, we got to attend the Grand Ole Opry, you know, a few years ago along with my daughter Taylor, but, you know, this summer, on your birthday when you turn 18, you're going to be playing the Opry.
Yeah.
So instead of being in the audience watching,
gonna be on that stage. I mean, it's kind of surreal because that was one of the first shows my family ever went to when we moved to Nashville. It was on my mom's birthday. We went out and we saw Old Crow Medicine show with Kev Mo sat in with them at the Opry, and I feel like ever since then it's been at the top of my bucket list to play it.
Right.
And I got John Osborne actually told me he like surprised me with it, and
Oh my goodness.
so I'm really looking forward to it.
And so that'll be July 30th?
Yeah, on my 18th birthday, on the day.
Wow. And so, is the Hodge Podge going to be playing with you?
Yeah, we're gonna try to get them out there.
How incredible. You just got a lot of great stuff going on.
I'm very lucky.
Yeah, and then you're playing, also, you know, in between, you're playing a lot of festivals and shows too, all over the country, right?
Yeah, all summer. Whatever festival you can think of, we're probably playing it.
and maybe packing a Gibson or two, because I know, you know, seeing you with your signature 61 Gibson SG, but also you've had a few newer ones you're playing now too.
Yeah, I just got 2 new SGs, so that I have a collection of 3 of them now.
And you are endorsed by Gibson.
Yeah.
One of the youngest artists, I believe, to be endorsed by them.
Yeah, I started working with them when I was 14. I was still living in California at the time. And
Wow.
yeah, very grateful for all their support.
Yeah, and now it's like, you know, like they have a little room and a space for you at the Gibson garage, right?
Yeah.
Like when you go to the Gibson factory, is there like Grace Bowers parking when you pull up?
There should be.
You know, kind of like a Bobby Bones parking sign. It's like Grace Bowers only, you know? And so you just pull right up, walk in and talk with like Cesar and Jim DeCola. It's like, yeah, let's go make my next guitar. That's not a bad deal, you know?
No, we need to get on that.
I think now it's time for the signature model. You know, I'm just throwing that out there, Grace. Maybe Gibson's listening.
Come on, Gibson. Let's go.
Well, I'll tell you what, it's just amazing that your new music, and certainly, you know, growing up as you did, you know, first being influenced by Guns N' Roses and you know, playing their songs, and now with your own album out, coming out on vinyl. Great accomplishment.
Yeah, thank you so much.
You're doing so many good things. I want to make sure for our viewers, Grace, that they know for your website, for social media, for the benefit, everything that you've got going on, and just to come see you live, whether that be at a festival, at a regular show, or at the Grand Ole Opry on July 30th. Where should viewers go for everything Grace Bowers?
You can find all my tour dates at gracebowers.com. All my social media is Grace Bowers. I'm on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, all of the things.
Yeah.
You can find it all there.
You're a viral sensation on YouTube and Reddit. You know, I mean, it's huge on those. So it's like, just follow Grace Bowers, and you're gonna, you know, see some great music, some great guitar licks, everything else. I'll tell you what. And also, be sure and check out the new album. The singles keep dropping, but the full album is coming out in August. Wine on Venus. If you like, as much as I do, funk and soul and kind of R&B music, you know, Grace, you don't like to be stuck into one category, right?
No. No.
So you can play it all.
No
That's
genres.
why you get to play with all these artists.
No genres over here.
Well, I'll tell you what, you're going to love the new music, but also go see her live. And if you can, also come to the benefit, which is for Love, Life, and Music, which will be at Brooklyn Bowl on June 10th. Grace Bowers, thanks so much for coming on the show.
Thanks so much for having me.
Sponsored by the Big 98, Nashville's #1 for new country and the home of the Bobby Bones Show.